Hey, my trendies, trendsetters, and my trendy tribe. Mic check, 1 2 1 2. Let me know if you can hear me. And let me go ahead and take this cover off. Okay, the circle's vibrating. That's a good sign. I have to edit something real fast. There we go. Okay. I'll be trying to make sure. Okay. Sorry, y'all. If you can't see the banner, I'm about to do greetings, and then we'll get straight into the business. So, all right, let me see. Y'all let me know if y'all see Val B coming to the chat or Reem Bass. Square Biz is backstage. So, hey, Square Biz. She is backstage right now. We have done our sound check. Hey, Dana Allen. She said, hello, Leo Play Niece and Trendy Chat. Hey, Professor Purple Queen. Peaceful Journey. Hey, Shan, one of my legal eagles and part of the Mod Squad. Hey, Jesse Bradley, Lewis, Esther Jones from the Shy. Cut and Paste Tisha, Annette GL, hey Z, let me see, hey Sweet Rose. Oh, your candle got delivered? Yes. Oh, her Jay Taylor candle came. Cut and Paste Tisha, shout out to you. Hey Mama, did I say hey to Mama Bees? I'm gonna say it again. Hey Mama Bees. Hold on, y'all. Let me see. Hey Lizzie Wheeler, Esther Jones from the Shy. Okay. So what do I want to say first? Okay, the way we decided. So first of all, I have seen Square Biz in living color from behind the camera. She is a real person. Number one, let's get that established. She won't be in front of the camera for this interview, but I have seen her. So I just want y'all to know I saw her moving around. I talked to her. She is really real. Okay. Let me see. Hey, Michelle Tuff from Seattle. Hey, Hoodie's coming tomorrow. Okay. Hey, Teresa Wright. So I want to go ahead and get the interview started because again, the point is helping us break into tech. Okay. That's the a really big part of it. And Square Biz wants to be a part of helping us do that. Yes, Black women in tech. Shout out to my middle sis, Journey to Jasmine, who is a content creator. Yes, sis. So shout out to Replay Gang Gang as well, y'all. I think you will enjoy this. So I have interview questions ready to go, and we decided that's how we'll do. And if Square Biz has time afterwards, she says she is open to questions. All right. So let me bring up Square Biz. Okay, Square Biz, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hey, okay, and I can hear
Um,
you as well. Okay, so Square Biz, we'll jump into it. Thank you again for even being here. Peaceful Journey says she's interested, and Journey to Jasmine is also in the tech world, I believe. All right. So Square Biz, I'll start out with the questions, and you answer them as you see fit. So the first thing I'm going to ask is, as far as your background and expertise goes, could you provide a brief overview of your background and experience in the subject matter that you teach?
Thank you very much, Trending, and thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. I know you don't know me from anywhere, and you're giving a sister a chance, and I really, really appreciate this. I have a degree in management information systems. I have been working for the past 15 years as a QA tester. I have led several test efforts that involved testing multiple sub-components. I manage test plans, test strategies, and results reports. Additionally, I design and execute test case scenarios, scripts. I validate test data in various defect tracking tools like Team Foundation Server, Application Live Management, which is ALM, and Jira. I have I have a test to break attitude, an ability to understand the point of view of our customers, a strong desire for quality and attention to detail, which is these are things that if you want to be a QA tester, you have to have. And I'm going to go and explain what a QA testing does in a few minutes when we're done with their interview with Trending.
Awesome. Okay. So Squarebiz, because you do teach online courses, what motivated you to create these courses?
Back in 2006, when I finished my degree and I was looking for work, I noticed an alarming rate at which some nationals are taking over the IT industry. So, and because I couldn't get a job directly after college, I decided to take a QA testing class in Virginia. I was living in Maryland at the time, and to enhance my skills and allow me to get a job. And while I was taking the class, I noticed that these nationals were helping each other to get into the IT field, although they had non related degrees from IT. In recent years, I've noticed that in recent years, companies are accepting employees who have experience in other fields. Um, I'm sorry, companies are um, companies are accepting their employees without you having the necessary degree. If you have the experience in the field, they'll go ahead and hire you. It's really about the experience so that they don't really have to train you. So you have to come in with experience. So if you have, let's say, an accountant degree or biology degree or whatever degree, if you have the experience, they'll hire you. You get a job. So because of that, what I noticed and how these other nationals were helping each other and they were getting jobs. So I decided to help my own friends and people that come to me and they want to come into the IT field. I'll go ahead and I'll help them with their resume and all that. And I just got so interested in teaching and helping them when they get jobs. It made me so happy. And the more I thought, the more it actually even helped me to understand my job better. Because when you teach, you have to do a lot of research. And because I was doing that, it really, really helped me improve in my work. And I got a lot of certificates from work due to that. So that is the reason that was what motivated me to start teaching now, because I've done it all along for free actually. And I just decided, you know what, I can do it as a part-time job now and make a little bit of money. So that is why I decided to go into it.
Thank you. And I was and I have the question coming up later about that more, but I'm glad you pointed out that you've already been doing this. You've been doing it a lot of times for free to help people. So the fact that you have turned it into something that could be an extra income is always nice. But yes, y'all, she already has her some people under her belt that she has taught. Okay, so what is your teaching philosophy? Um, how do you approach complex concepts with your students?
My teaching philosophy is to make the content I teach more relatable. In many cases, when a student can't identify with the material, it's harder for them to gather meaning. So I'm very passionate in what I do, and that helps in creating a positive learning environment and connecting and interacting with my students. My philosophy is always to simplify information by breaking it down to bits and pieces so that it will be easy for them to comprehend and string along. With the experience, experience is always our best teacher. I have learned over the years to recognize the different types of learning styles like visual, naturalistic, oral, solitary, logical, to name a few. Creating courses with a blend of these elements helps a lot, but you can never get them all in one. Hence, I make some one on one time to ensure that my students are comfortable and properly able to grasp the information that I teach. So that is my teaching philosophy. I do a lot of one on one. It's not just teaching online with a class of full of students. After my class, if you are struggling, you need me to explain in detail, I'm willing to do a one on one with you and give you more feedbacks.
That's beautiful. Okay, and I feel like you just answered how you also accommodate different learning styles, because the one-on-one means that you're already, catering to different learning styles. And it's really nice to know that you teach outside of your structure, like your structured time. So that's really nice. That's not everybody does that. So that's really good to know that y'all, that someone could get the one-on-one time as well as the actual class time. um do you want to share, or do you have an example of one of the challenging topics that you've had to uh teach in the past?
Like writing test cases. My students have a difficult time trying to understand how to write a test case. And a test case is really very easy. It's just simple instructions. You're trying to um, show the world how to be able to access a system or an application online. Most of their systems I've worked before were web based, meaning that their application is online. So, writing a test case, you have to use the requirements. The customers come to the company and tell them, we have an idea, we want you to build this system for us. So, they'll give you their requirements, exactly what the system to look like. And we, the testers, will write test cases. We'll take the requirements, and from the requirements, we write our test cases. And it's just step by step information as to how to test a functionality on their system. So a lot of my students have struggled writing test cases, although they are very good writers, they write very well, they just can't grasp, they can't understand how to write it step by step. So with me, I always tell them, in order for you to write a good test case, you have to understand the requirement. You have to read it and understand. If you don't understand, ask questions. You always have to ask questions. You can't go to a job and be shy or be afraid to ask. The IT field is saturated with a lot of people that know their stuff. It's a competition. So when you go there, do not be afraid to ask questions. There's nothing like a stupid question. You don't ask a question, then that makes it a stupid. But if you ask questions and you have a good understanding of what the requirements are from the customer, you should be able to write a test case. So the first thing I always tell them, and I notice the struggle with, is understanding the requirements. The requirements is in English, and it's very easy. You just have to take your time, understand it, or ask questions, do your own research, and they always have tons of documentations at these companies that you can make use of. So that is what the struggles I've noticed.
Okay, thank you, thank you. And especially since you are in the tech world, how do you ensure that what you're teaching stays up to date or
Um,
relevant and up to date? I'm sorry.
I'm in touch with the trends in the requirements of the industry through related forums, research, and actually my current job requirements. This enables me to tailor my courses to provide my students with the right knowledge. The education is designed to not only get them jobs, but for them to be excellent. Like I was telling you a few minutes ago, the IT field is very competitive and you have to know your stuff. There was a time when you go for an interview, you only had your manager, the manager interviewing you. No, it's no longer like that. You have about six or seven, eight people interviewing you, and it can get very rough. So the more you know, that you are very well informed, you are knowledgeable, you should be able to pass that interview. So you just have to educate yourself and keep reading and keeping up to date. So
Okay. Um, and what kind of resources and materials do you include in your courses? Just a sample of some type of materials and resources.
I use a lot of PowerPoints to explain all my lessons. I also have a copy of the requirements document. I actually wrote a requirements document so that through that my students can write their test cases from. So it's like a small system that I made myself, and my so I'm able to show them, share those documents with them because I've worked for a lot of government companies and I can't use their requirements because it's be against the law. But so I just wrote my own requirements, my own system, and that is what I use in my class to explain to them what the system looks like and how to write the test cases. I also have the Jira testing tool that we most companies use these days. I have access to the Jira testing tool, and I also have the snipping tool. All the different tools we use, I have it, so I present it to them during the class.
Okay, thank you, thank you. And before we go on, because I know, just so y'all know, I'm starring the questions in the chat because I am definitely going to present those to Square Biz after we do our interview session. So I'm not ignoring your questions, I promise. It's we had a structure going, and I know if she's like me, I need to keep the structure you already told me we were gonna have, so I can stay on task and think clearly. So I'm not ignoring y'all. I'm starring your questions in the chat. Let's see. What module or topic is really valuable to your students that come from your courses?
I'm sorry, repeat that again.
um, can you highlight a specific module or topic from your courses that you believe is like really valuable to your students?
The SDLC, software developmental life cycle, and the QA testing models gives my students an overview of all the different phases in the IT. So that is what I consider very, very variable. I can, when I start teaching this will be my third class. I've already taught two classes, and the first class I thought a few of my students asked, why are you going through all this SDLC and you're not just going straight into their QA testing? And I was like, no, you can't just go straight into QA testing. You have to know what the software developmental life cycle is all about, the different phases. And because that gives you the overview of what the customer wants, of what the programmer does, what the database do, what before QA, before we go to production, and all that critical information. So I believe the SDLC and the QA testing is critical.
Okay, thank you so much. So basically, I heard we're not skipping steps out here. That's what I heard. But okay,
Yeah, I
so
was kind of I got thrown off. I'm sorry, I took a long pause before I answered.
no, you're just fine. I look, take your time. It's not a rush. It's not a race. You're just fine.
Okay.
I wanted to ask you. So, how do you foster your student engagement? Or I'm sorry, yeah. How do you foster your student engagement and interaction in your courses, especially because it's an online environment?
I have a WhatsApp group to encourage discussion among students because I believe that all students can benefit from a question asked by one student. Sometimes the students are shy, or for whatever reason, they can't ask a question in class and they're struggling. They probably didn't get what I said. And so what I do is I came up with this WhatsApp group, and every day I'll go in and I'll throw two questions, and it's all whatever we learned there during that weekend. I'll ask them questions on that, and when they respond, that gives me an idea of if they answered it correctly or wrong. Then I'll be able to know where they are, and I also try to get them to participate in these when I ask questions, because sometimes they keep quiet, they don't want to say anything. So I really encourage them, and actually I came with a set of rules that if you don't do your homework for the third time, I'll kick you out of the class. If you don't contribute in the exchanges on the WhatsApp group, I'll take you out. I had to like threaten, because if you're not doing the homework or you're not participating by answering the questions, it doesn't give me the chance to know where you are and what you are struggling with. Communication is key. So that is what I did to help.
Okay, okay. Thank you. Um, so I feel like you also answered, and let me know if you want to add to it, but I do feel like you answered about the interactive elements and activities because you just talked about WhatsApp and things like that. So do you want to add anything as far as your interactive elements that you might have incorporated? Or I feel like you did talk about it, so let me know if you want to add to that or not with the interaction.
Um, yeah, that's encouraging the students to actively participate, complete all their homework assignments, which helps in them stimulating their critical thinking skills and promoting a deeper understanding of the subject. So um, that's
I feel like
basically it.
okay, because I feel like you did answer it like with your first answer. And
Right.
also, if someone does have concerns, like they're like, I'm gonna give an example, but I'm sure you'll have different ones and more examples. But how do you handle if a student has like concerns, like I don't feel like I'm catching on, or um, how do I know if I actually am just getting cold feet versus I don't know, like how do you handle those common concerns that someone may have when they're not just already familiar with the tech industry like that or what you're teaching? How do you help them?
First, I have prerequisites that you have to meet before you take the class. Some of my students, I noticed, come to class. The first student set of the first class I didn't have a set of prerequisites because I was just doing it to see how it would go. And some of them came, they didn't know Microsoft Word, they didn't have any Excel, they didn't even know how to go online and go through the different webs, browsers, and all that stuff. So I came up with a set of rules, prerequisites that you have to have so that it doesn't, it will help you to speed up and understand. So the only main part that you will have to learn is a QA, the IT part of it. So having said that, I also listen very carefully to my students. I have an accent. I sometimes speak fast. So I always tell them, I encourage them, if I'm speaking fast, you don't understand what I'm saying, you have to communicate that to me. Because if you don't tell me, I wouldn't know and I won't be able to help you. So, and I don't want you to leave my class without knowing anything, because then you wouldn't be able to get a job. Like I was saying earlier, it's no longer about going for an interview. It's going to conquer that interview, because you have so many people that are going to be interviewing you. So the more you know, the better. So I try very hard to work with my students. If I have to do a one-on-one with you, it goes into my own personal time. I also meet with you one-on-one, explain things to you. And when I do one-on-one, it gives me time, the opportunity to know, because some students I notice they are struggling in something, they know they are struggling, but they can't communicate that to you because they can't put it in words. So if you kind of talk to them and you gradually talk to them and asking them questions here and there, then you probe what the issue is, and then you're able to help them. So I do one on one. I try to encourage them to do their WhatsApp and also ask questions in class. Because when you ask questions in class, maybe I'm struggling with something, I'm not really sure how to ask, and then the other person asks the question, and then you're like, oh, yeah, that's what I'm struggling with. So I do a lot of one on one. I listen to my students and I take it from there.
I love that. That's so good, and it's good to know. Your sounds like you're self-aware, which is good for someone that's trying to teach you something. And for everyone that added more questions in the chat, I put a star because I'm gonna come back to your questions for Square Biz, just so y'all know. Um, so Square Biz, okay, this is what I'm excited to hear. Okay, so can you share some of the success stories, testimonials from past students who have taken your courses?
Oh, I have three students. My first class was 10 students, and then the second was six. So I've had 16. But other than that, in the past, before I even started teaching, I was helping people. Majority of them got jobs. The past few classes that I did, this will be I've done two classes. So the next one coming up will be the third class. The two that I've done, three of them got jobs, two got testing roles, and one got a business analyst. So other than the QA testing that I teach, I also touch up on the business analyst. So there are two different positions that you can get from my class, and three students got it. And my second class consists of referrals. All the six students I had in my second class were referred to me from the students that were in my first class. So that told me they liked my class, they got the right information that they needed, and they were able to prove this. It's not even just only learning the stuff, it's being able to prove yourself in the interview. And I try to teach them in a way that they will be able to handle the pressure in the interview. When you go for an interview, if you have a good understanding of the subject matter, like the QA testing, you'll find yourself nervous. I mean, yeah, you'll be nervous a little bit, but you find yourself being confident because you know your stuff, you've done your research, you've studied. It's not just attending class, it's also taking the class seriously. That's what I keep stressing to my students. You pay all this money and come to the class, and then you don't come one day, you come the next day, and then you don't pay attention. You have to take the class seriously because the interview is very rough. And that's what I stress to my students, and they follow, they listen, and so far so good. I'm happy with the feedbacks I get from my students. So I hope that answered your question.
It did. And that's really impressive that your following class was from all referrals. No, that did answer my question. And so it honestly answered my next question because I was going to ask you, how do you measure the success of your courses and with your students getting jobs and then the referrals? Because, you know, especially when someone has gone through it themselves and they've actually done it, they're usually not going to refer someone else unless they benefited from it, especially if there's no other type of incentive put under there, you know, like so that really does speak volumes.
Right.
And I will ask you, and I feel like you've done this, but just after the students finish the class, what steps do you take to continuously improve your courses based on their feedback?
I have created multiple channels for feedback, such as surveys and the one-on-one conversations. I continuously update each of the different models that I have for my lessons with the current information. So these are the steps that I take to improve my courses. I take a lot of feedback from the students, even from work. That's what I do at work. I will do a lot of lessons learned where I made mistakes. I go back and review my stuff and study. IT is a lot of research, a lot of, because it's always something new coming up. So you have to be on your toes. And there's a lot of things to learn. And so that is how I educate myself to and improve.
Thank you. And I feel like with my last two questions, you actually answered them up front because I was going to ask you about inclusivity and how do you make your courses accessible to a diverse audience. But I feel like you answered that when you said you do one-on-ones, you have certain prerequisites to make sure that they'll all actually be prepared for the class you're about to teach. So unless you want to add to it, I feel like you answered how do you make your course accessible with varying levels of expertise.
Right.
Okay, because I feel like I really do feel like you answered that question. And then the other one, again, I feel like with the one-on-ones, you answered this question. But what measures do you take to create an inclusive learning environment for all students?
Um,
Because I feel like you answered it. It
I
might be.
try, yeah, I try not to speak too fast and encourage my students to ask me to explain again if they need me to explain. And I'm very mindful of body language and eye contact. So in my class, I always make sure they don't, because we do it in a Google chat room, and I tell them not to hide. Like, you know how right now you can't see my me in my class. I have to see you. You have to be able to see me
That's
because I can
that's
tell whether you are paying attention or not. And I don't want you to take my class just for the sake of taking a class. You get what I'm saying? I want you to do well, because if you do well, your success will get me more students. You get what I'm saying? Because you
right.
go and refer me if you're happy with my class. But if you come and attend my class and you're not taking it seriously, then it's a problem. So I believe in body language and also eye contact. I make sure I do eye contact with the students and take it from there. So,
Okay. Okay. Well, you've answered all of my questions, Square Biz. So, are you okay with me asking the questions from the chat now?
um, do you mind if I just quickly tell you what the QA testing is?
Yes,
Oh,
please go right ahead.
yeah, let me just go over. Um, so, QA testing is, hold on 1 minute. Let me get some water. I'm sorry, 1 minute.
No problem. Okay, y'all. So, Square Biz is going to fill in some of the blanks of the questions I did not ask, and then I'm going to the questions that y'all asked.
Okay, so I teach QA testing and it's manual QA testing. So QA testing, we work with the programmers and all stakeholders in the company. So we work for an IT company, and let me just give you a little bit of a history. So um, let's say, for example, you have, like, we all know what Facebook is. I like to use Facebook because it's a very common application, a web-based application that we all use and we are familiar with. So the owners of Facebook, for example, when they came up with the idea to create Facebook, they needed an IT company to develop Facebook for them. They had the idea, this is what we want to do, where people will meet and socialize with their friends and family and all that stuff, but they didn't have the capabilities to develop the system. They need an IT company to do it. So they'll meet up with an IT company, they'll give the IT company their requirements, what they expect their users to see. So you, me, Trending, we are all users of Facebook. So the requirements, they'll meet the customer, which is their Facebook, will meet with the IT company on a daily basis and they'll gather the requirements. And once the requirements gathering is complete, the developers who are programmers, is the same developers, programmers, the same thing. They will take the requirements and then they will now start to implement the system. Once they finish implementing the different modules of the page, like the access page, the what do you call it, the landing page. You know, when you log into Facebook, it directs you to the landing page, and then we have our own individual pages. You have the email, all the different sections in Facebook. Those are all the different requirements that was gathered from the customer. They'll tell you how they want this to be displayed on what screen and all that stuff. So once the programmers have developed the system, then we, the testers, we take the requirements. The requirements is created in a document, and the requirement is written by the business analyst. So we the testers will take the requirements and then we'll write test cases and we'll go ahead and test the what the programmers have developed against what is in the requirements. So the requirements documentation to us testers is our Bible. Whatever it says in the requirements document is exactly what we expect to see when we go to Facebook, to the application. So for example, a requirement could be the user should be able to access the system. How do you access the system? You have to go into www.facebook.gov. Sorry, I work for government, so I keep saying government. So it's www.facebook.com. Once you put in that into the web browser, and then you click enter, and it directs you to the Facebook page. You have your access page, right? And then the first requirement is you should be able to access this page. So you have to put in your username, you have to put in your password, and then you click on submit. It will redirect you to the landing page. So that is the first requirement. So we, the testers, will take the requirement and we'll write a test case. It will write step by step details as to how to achieve being redirected to the landing page. So that is what testers do. We write test cases, we open defects. So if we go in and we log in, we put in our username, we put in our password, we click submit, and it gives us an error. It doesn't take us to the landing page. That is a defect. So then we have to open up a ticket and we assign it to the developer, the programmer, to fix it. And once he fix it, he'll send it back to us. We'll retest it, make sure it is fixed, and then we pass that ticket. If it's still not fixed, we'll keep failing it till the developer gets it, because we have to follow what the requirement. The customer specifically wants to see this happen when you go to this page or when you go to that page. And that is exactly what we testers are there to test and make sure that the system is working exactly as it states in the requirement. The requirements are very easy to read. If you don't understand the requirements, it's your duty as a tester to ask questions. You go to the business analyst, ask questions, get a good understanding of it so that you can write your test case. So that is what we, the testers, do. We write test cases, we open defects, we retest. There are different types of testing: system testing, regression testing, various testing. We do most of them and reassign. And then once we finish testing and we have signed off testing everything. All the test cases have been tested. All our defects have been are in pass status. Then the deployment team will deploy the system to the customer. The customer will also do their own testing, make sure everything is working according to their requirements, and then the system goes into production. So that's basically what the QA testing is about. There's a lot to it. There's a lot. So you have to, I can't stress this. I keep stressing this to my students. It's so much that you need to learn. So you have to take it seriously. It's not something that you just come and piece of cake. It's not piece of cake. You have to put an effort and make sure that you have the correct understanding. Because once you go for the interview, you're on your own. Square Biz will not be there to help you with the interview. I can help you before you get there, but once you are there doing that interview, you'll be on your own. So you have to take the class seriously. So
I have to
the
say thank you for two reasons right now. I just appreciated what you said. The first part is I really do appreciate that you're not trying to make it seem as easy as cake, that you do have to take it seriously. I appreciate that because it it does put more trust in it that you're not trying to make it seem like as soon as you get in here, it's just boom, bop, bam, and you gonna do it. You know, so I do
no,
appreciate
no,
that
it's not.
your honesty. And then also thank you for that example because I was trying to picture what an example would be, and I couldn't quite get it. So thank you for the Facebook example.
Right.
uh,
And then I have different models that I'll teach. So, like the first model, just an overview of what the class entails. I will go over what the manual testing is and the importance of manual testing, the 7 phases of the software developmental life cycle, which is the SDLC, the software development methodologies. We have the agile. Some companies use waterfall. I'll teach you these two major ones: agile, scrum, and waterfall. And then in my module 2, I will go into the test planning. That's when we'll go into the QA testing, and we start with the test planning. I will explain the different the requirements document, what the test plans are, what test strategies you should know, the test cases, and then all the different types of testing. We'll do a lot of homework, which I give you a week to do, and you have to do the homework. You don't do it the third time, I'm going to kick you out of the class, because when you leave my class, you have to have a good understanding of what I've taught you for the past 6 weeks. And it's a 6 weeks class, but I have two, it's actually 8 weeks, 6 weeks of lessons as a group. And then the next last 2 weeks will be a one-on-one with me, where I'll go over your resume with you. I'll teach you the questions and answers of how to answer the questions asked in interviews. And we'll also, in my module 3, I have the bug reports, how to open a defect in the Jira tool or the ALM tool. The main components in the bug report, how to prioritize your bugs. And then I'm also going to touch up on the database, SQL. We'll go over that. The only thing that I'm not going to teach in my class is automation, because it's a manual class and I'm focusing on the manual part of it and database. So that's basically my what I'll be offering in my class.
Thank you. Did you want to add anything else before I get to
No,
the
that,
question?
that that's it. I'm open to questions now.
Oh, yay. Okay. Hey, Lala. Hey, y'all that have come in here. I appreciate seeing y'all. Okay, so I'm gonna start from the top to be fair. So Liz Castleberry says, Square Biz, do you work with Big Query?
I'm sorry, do I work with what?
It's called Big Query. That's what Liz Castleberry is asking. I put it on the screen too so you could see it written out.
No, I
Okay.
don't work with BigQuery.
Okay. Okay.
I don't.
It
I'm not sure what does she mean by BigQuery.
it might be to the type of area of tech that might be relevant to. So it might not be something you touch
No,
because
it's
of
not. It
what.
doesn't apply to my class.
Okay, okay. And Professor Sagittarius, yep, the classes are online.
Yes.
Um, Okay, Journey to Jasmine said, "What's the name of the certification that folks take after the class, or is there a certification?"
There is a certification, but it's not a required certification. I mean, if you want to take the certification, you can do it. You just go online and do a search on QA testing certification, and it will show you the different companies that are offering that. The good thing about, I'm not saying that you don't need a certificate. You can take the certificate if you want. With me, I don't have a certificate, although I am planning to do it because I'm teaching it now. But before, I had a degree in information systems, so I don't have the certificate. But if you take the class, for example, and you go for an interview, and let's say they have to make a decision on you and another candidate, right? And they'll say, okay, trending has this and this and that, and Square Biz has that, and it's getting tight. They don't know who to choose. If trending has a certificate and Squarebiz doesn't, then of course they'll go with trending because she has a certificate. You get what I'm saying? So that is
Like,
why
it will
it's
edge you out.
necessary. Yeah, if you want to take the certificate, you can take it, but it's not necessary that you have to have it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yep.
So it's really, I mean, it's good to have, but if you have a degree or if you have your experience, then fine.
Okay, okay. So if you just want to edge out your competition, there you go. But you can still get in the door without it. Also, Journey to Jasmine also asked, and now, do you, I know you've done it because you're nice, but do you do it as part of your class where you help with resumes
Yeah.
and or job placement? Have you ever helped with?
Yeah. I don't do the job placement, but I help you with the resume and I'll help you with the questions and answers, how to answer the kind of questions to expect and how to answer them. And then I will show you the websites to go to. And if you want me to help you go through the jobs and select what jobs to send your resume to, I'll do that.
Okay, okay. Next question is knowledge of writing queries or coding required to write and or execute test cases?
Um, The queries, you mean like SQL queries? Um, yeah, some companies will require you to know the database. So my class, yeah, definitely, I'm going to teach you how to write SQL queries. The coding part, you don't have to know how to code, but if it's good to understand the coding, and as you work along, when you go for the interview, they're not going to focus on the coding part of it because you're not a programmer, you're a tester. But once you start working and you're working with the programmers, they are the ones who do the coding. It's good to research and read the coding. It's not really difficult to understand. I mean, I don't write it. I'm not a programmer, but it's not required. But
Mm-hmm.
it's just good to, once you get the job, like any job you get, you have to learn as much as you can.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe to make it easier for you to understand your job, understanding the coding, then do it. And if it's not, then you don't really have to know coding and queries. Depending on the companies, a lot of companies are requiring you to have the SQL, or in fact, some of them even don't have SQL, but you find some of their interviewers asking you database questions. So it's good to have their database knowledge.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. And I answered this one for you, or at least this is what I put in the chat. I put your email address, Squarebiz, that was on your flyer. I put that in the chat and in my description box for contacting you.
Right.
So is your email the best way that you would like to be? Well, you have. I think you might have a phone
I
number on
have
the
a
flyer.
number. I have a business number there too. So yeah, you can call my
Okay.
number.
Okay. What I'm gonna do so you can get her full flyer, because I will have to take my hands off after this live, is please send her the email for her full flyer, and the email will be in the description box. That way you will be in direct contact with the person with the knowledge. So I'll keep it email, but I'll update my description box with her phone number too. I can do that. So when we're off the live, I'll put her business phone number that's from the flyer in the description box, and then after that, you'll be able to contact Square Biz as well after this live replay, gang, all that. Y'all be able to ask your questions. And then it's me, Lala. She said with the class before beginners, and before you answer, and I feel like Lala is probably younger than me. She's probably younger than me. So Lala, I feel like you're saying from the standpoint after, hopefully what she was saying earlier is that you do need to know Microsoft Word, Excel, like the basics of the computer, so she can come in teaching you the actual class itself. But SquareBiz, take it away with the class before beginners.
Yeah, it's for beginners. My when she asked, is it for beginners? I was thinking of age, but I get what she's saying. Yeah, you can. There are prerequisites. Yeah, so you have to know the Excel, Word, and you have to know how to go online, and because there's some things that I can't teach you because it is stop hold up the class. So I have my prerequisites, which if you're interested in the class and you contact me, I'll send it to you and let you know these are the prerequisites for you to know. But anyone can join the class, but it would be just helpful for you to know some few specific things.
Okay. And just to
And also
reiterate,
you have to be able to write. If you know how to write, that it's very helpful because you communicate with your managers and stuff with email and all that stuff. So you have to know business writing. You have to be able to do business writing.
okay, thank you. And just in case y'all didn't catch that, again, SquareBiz wants to make sure you actually are her class is what you're looking for. So she again will provide you with prerequisites just so you know before going in what point, to make sure that you're at the point where this will be right for you. I feel like she's very much harping on the fact that she doesn't want you to waste your time or money. So that's why I just wanted to point that out. It's me, Lala. Said I'm the head of my department, but I would like to get into tech. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And Rashida said PowerPoint's also good to know.
Not necessarily. I mean, yeah, it's good to know, but not in QA. It's Excel and Microsoft Word,
Okay,
especially.
for QA specifically. Got it.
Right.
Got
I
it.
mean, it's good to know PowerPoint, but
And I get that because I know when we see the word tech is very broad. My middle sis that was in here, she is in tech, but she said let me find her comment of what she said she was in if it'll let me go up that far. Hold on, I have to sneeze. Sorry. Okay. I was trying to find her comment when she first came in because she's in a different side of tech, just to, And then also, I think Rashida either is in tech or her family's in tech. I saw some people naming family members, and it's so broad. So if you are coming in, just so you know, SquareBiz is speaking specifically on QA testing and test case writing. Is that what you call it? Test case?
yeah, test cases. Yeah.
Okay, test cases. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. I was trying to find Journey to Jasmine's comment, but okay. I'm looking to see if y'all have additional or questions for Square Biz. I don't, hold on. Okay, here we go. Rashida says, I'm an application analyst and just received my Scrum Master. I thought I saw something about some
Oh
Scrum Master.
wow.
I got you, Rashida. Shout out to the smart people in the chat. Peaceful Journey said, bless you. Okay, yes. I thank you too. And thank y'all that are here because I'm just gonna say thank you because that's all I'm gonna say because I don't wanna I'm just gonna say thank you for being here for this topic. It is
And thank you too for me.
yes. And Scorpius, thank you for doing this.
Right.
It takes a lot to put yourself out there in the front like that.
Right.
I
And
do wish.
the class is on Saturday and Sunday. We'll start on January 13th, next Saturday, and it's at
Okay,
11 o'clock Eastern
Saturdays
time.
and Sundays. Okay.
Right.
And
And
that
it's for
is
like
on
an hour and a half,
okay.
sometimes 2 hours. It's, yeah.
So her earliest class is about to start is next Saturday, in case y'all didn't catch that. And when you contact her via email or her phone number, I'll add her phone number in there in my description box. She'll give you the flyer so you see everything that she's kind of discussed and everything. And also, if you have additional questions that are more personal about you specifically, you can ask her that as well. Rashida said this was awesome. Trendy, please do this again. Black Tech Week is a huge event. When is Black Tech Week? Let me Google it. Hold on. Let me see. July 18th through the 20th. I gotta start adding that to the calendar so we can start planning things. Okay, Rashida, definitely noted. And Square Biz, thank you again. If you want to add anything else, you are more than welcome to at this time.
Right. Yeah, just contact me if you're interested for more information, and we'll take it from there. Thank you so much, Trending, for doing this for me. May God bless.
Thank you. And same to you, sis. I definitely appreciate this. And I thank y'all.
Thank you, everyone, for joining.
Yes, thank y'all. Okay, well, I will see y'all in these YouTube streets. Thank you again, Replay Gang. Thank y'all ahead of time. All right, y'all. I'm gonna say bye.
Bye. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.
I've been taking my time. I've been taking my time. Taking all of your time. Taking all of your time. I've been taking my time. I've been taking my time. Taking all of your time. Taking all of your time. We've been talking about it for a while. Before we take a chance and do it. Before we looking back as foolish. We've been talking about it for a while. Before we take a chance and do it. Before we looking back as foolish.